Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our this week's Zoom presentation. This is Alvin Tucker, along with some of our team members here from Fortitude. We have Mr. Hutch here, Mr.
Team,
Carlos, and Mr. Troy. So today, guys, we're going to be talking to you guys about something that's very important: a teamwork, responding as a team, working together as a team. We here at Fortitude, of course, we have a team. I believe we have the best team here in Montgomery. This is just a few of us. We have about total about I think 12 to 14 people on our team. So we're going to jump into this, but I do want to thank all of the people that are joining us today by way of Facebook Live. Thank you for our sponsors, the people that are backing us financially, supporting us as well. So we just thank you guys for joining us this morning. We're going to go ahead and jump into this. So today, guys, we are talking about teamwork. Mr. Carlos, let's do it, sir.
all right. Thank you, Mr. Alvin. Good morning, everybody. Um, we're talking about teams this morning, but I want to recap for about 1 minute on what we talked about last week. Last week, we talked about being a role model, and it's ironic how these things transfer into the next topic that we're talking about because a role model is part of a team. They're part of the team building for young people. They're part of the role models in the community. Role models are part of a team in the community. And they're essential to what we're talking about almost every time that we have one of these topics of discussion. The team is a group of people that's working together. It's normally two or more people that's working together, and they also have a shared purpose. That's a team. But in order to have teamwork, you have to have that group, and they have to have a combined effort to work together effectively and efficiently. And that's what we're talking about today is that combined effort, working together effectively and efficiently, and that's called teamwork. Now, you can have some ineffective teams and you can have some effective teams. We want to focus on being the effective teams because the other ineffective teams just almost mirror, but you can just put ineffective in front of it, and that's what an ineffective team is. Now, I don't care if you're talking about the Apollo mission, you can talk about the United States, you can talk about U.S. Navy, U.S. Coast Guard, U.S. Air Force. You could talk about Montgomery School Board. You could talk about your neighborhood. You could talk about Fortitude Leadership Academy. And that's what I probably know best is Fortitude. And Mr. Evans said it earlier that we are a team. And a team is just as strong as the weakest link. So when I say that, we all work together. And that team always is going to have a leader. And it doesn't mean that that person is the say all and be all, but that team leader normally have a clear focus in mind. And that's with any team. You have strength in numbers. And we said, why work in a team? You have strength in numbers. You can learn from each other. Teams are more effective than an individual when we're working on complex and time projects. And the team also helped to build some interpersonal skills. And those interpersonal skills could be your weaknesses that you learn to overcome. It helps to solve problems. You can collaborate together. You can have solve conflicts, and that's what a team do. But most of us think about teams like being football teams or basketball teams, and they are important. But there's also some other important teams, and Fortitude is one of those teams. And it's ironic how some of us some weeks don't be here, but the team mission is to put the word out. So every week we still work as a team. We put the word out, and that's how we function. We collaborate together. Even though we have a leader, every person's input is important. That's part of being a strong team. Some other factors that Fortitude has in being a team is that we communicate well. We talk to each other. We talk about what we're going to do, how we're going to do, how it's going to affect what we're doing. We brainstorm. All of those are some factors of being a team. And later on in our discussion, I'm going to ask the team to talk about some of the effective ways to be a team and some of the ineffective ways to be a team. But those are the definitions of a team. And in order for that team to work right, you have to have teamwork. And if somebody else can help me out a little bit and talk about some of the teams maybe they've been on before and how they worked.
I have a question for you. So we're talking about teams and just thinking about us before we get into that. So do the teams always agree? Let's talk about
Oh,
Fortitude real quick.
no. The team. That's what make a team so strong. Is that you know you're not always going to be right. One person is not always going to be right. But when you have a shared interest and somebody else's ideals come up, then we collaborate on that. And you tend to find out most of the time that somebody else have a better idea than you do. So we don't always agree, and that's the good thing about a team.
I think so, and I think one good thing just with us, when I think about us, not only the four of us, but all of the team, I think we complement. We have different areas that we complement. You know, I could sit here and just kind of talk about the three of you guys real quick, and just some different things that I've noticed in each of you guys that
Don't
complement the
don't
team. And I'm
but don't
just gonna do that a little bit. I think I'll start with so Mr. Hutch up top. You know, Mr. Hutch is he's the talker of the group. Now, if we want to get something to communicate, Mr. Hutch gonna get up there. He's gonna sell that idea. He's gonna make sure that the people understand who we are and what our purpose is. Now, one other thing I want to make known is that a team effort. As the leader, I expect that these guys know everything that I know about Fortitude, and they do. So if we're somewhere because we are a team, and someone wants to know about Fortitude, they don't come grab me because they can tell them if they have to come find me, then we're not acting as a team. They should be able to tell anybody anything about Fortitude, and these guys do. So Hutch is very good at that. Now, Mr. Carlos is gonna make sure we have our facts together. We do not move forward anything. If the facts are not there, we're just not going to sell the product. We're not going to even discuss it. So he's our fact checker. He's going to make sure that we're on point. He's like the big brother of the group. And then Troy is the nicer side of me. So if instead of me portraying the message, I'll portray the message to Troy, and then Troy spread it to the team in a nice manner. So because we are a team, now we don't agree all the time. We don't agree, but we agree to disagree, and we have the same common goal. So I think that's important as a team when we come together. And these guys, and as we move forward, I'll ask them a few questions about what why did they decide to join this team, Fortitude. But Ms. Carlos, you were about to ask a question of these guys. If you don't mind, go back into that.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if most of us can reflect on different teams that we have been in, and how did they work? Were they effective or were they ineffective, and why? And I've been on some work teams before that was ineffective, and they didn't work because we didn't have a clear goal in mind. It started out as a good idea, but it changed along the way, and there was nobody to guide us in the right direction. Almost like this coronavirus stuff is that it's a lot of good ideas out there, but it's nobody driving in the right direction to get to the end result. So, for some of my experiences, I've been on a couple of work teams before that we had good intentions, but we started out going in 9 different directions, and the team wasn't all together. There was a lack of communication. Uh, we had some conflict within the group or the team. We had some irresponsible team members, and all of those things break down the team to where it's not effective. And I won't call names, but I would just say that I've only worked in a couple of places in my life. So
Very good. Mr. Mr. Hutch, you got anything you want to share on that one?
No, I agree. I agree with Mr. Carlos on that. And basically, teamwork is an individual. That's each one of us, each one of you out there, the kids, your commitment to a group effort. So you think about it, you do things that are teamwork centered every day. If you're a part of a classroom and if there's a class project that requires teamwork. When you play sports, if you're playing football, that's a team sport. It requires individual commitment. And if you don't commit, you have to put your personal feelings aside. If you don't like something, that doesn't mean it's wrong. Again, back to what you talked about, Mr. Alvin. It doesn't mean it's wrong because you disagree, but it gives the team another avenue, another way of looking at things. And that makes us better prepared to discuss whatever or to get through whatever the goal is. So if we go in and we're agreeing to disagree, if we disagree with each other and we respectfully talk to each other and hear each other's points, we might be asked a question that came up during those discussions that we wouldn't have been prepared for had we not had those disagreements or had those discussions. So again, it's about the individual commitment. For me, that's what teamwork means. You have a goal, there's a vision, you want to reach that goal, and it requires individual commitment from everybody, because everybody, Mr. Alvin, like you just talked about, everybody brings a different skill set. Everybody does something maybe a little bit better than the next person. That doesn't make you any better than the next person, but right. You have a skill. And for your kids in the schools, some of you might have a project, and some of you might be very good at reading, and others of you might be very good at math, and others of you might be good at science, and some of you are good at English. And so when you come together, the people that are struggling in these different areas, that's where the individual commitment I just talked about comes in. That's where your commitment, it's not about you, it's about the class project. It's about getting out the door in the morning. That requires teamwork. For the kids to get to school is a teamwork effort. So, just to get out of school, to get up to go to school, your parents wake you up, or you get up by an alarm clock. Then your parents said, hey, go wash up, go brush your teeth, put on your clothes. And oh, by the way, if you have a sibling, a younger brother or sister, I need you to help them get dressed. And I need you guys downstairs in the next 30 minutes so that we can eat breakfast, and then we can make our way so we can get you to school. That's teamwork. Every individual is doing their part to make sure that they get out the door and on their way to school by 7 o'clock. So there are plenty of examples of teamwork. And I just want to challenge the kids to look at it.
So Hutch, I'm listening to you. So basically, all of us actually have recited some positive skills as far as creating a team or being part of a team. I heard you mention commitment, communication. All those things are needed. Commitment is the one that really stood out to me. You have to be committed to be a part of a team. I think about when I'm just basing this on us going into the schools when we mentor the kids. Now there are other projects that we have that involve all 14 of us, but when we go into the schools, it's basically about 5 of us that go, a total of 5. So being committed, one thing I can say as a team, all of us may not go at one particular time, but we're committed to each other or to the vision enough to say, hey, I won't be there, versus showing up here on a Tuesday or a Thursday, waiting for someone. There's never been a time that I've been to a location not knowing how many people would be there, because everybody's committed to the project. And therefore, if you can't be there, you let us know you can't be there. So it goes to what you mentioned. If you're on a project, if you have a science project in school, young people, you have to be committed to that project. Whether you're good at reading and putting the things together, you may be better at experimenting, but everything is needed in order to put that project together to make sure that everybody gets a good grade. But if you say you're going to do a particular part of that project and you don't follow through, you're not committed to the team. So, those are two things, and communication. In order for me to not expect to have 4 people, when I get here and we're about to go to a school, we have to communicate to say, okay, I'm not going to be here, or hey, I'm going to be here today. And we know beforehand how many people we're going to actually have. when we go into the school. And we've never been just one person going. So I'm appreciative for the team efforts of being committed, and also communicating. But also one other thing for these guys here now, and this is any team member. This is one other thing come to my mind. Let you guys jump in after this, but being flexible. So you have to understand that this team here, these guys are flexible. All these guys here could be doing anything. They're all retired military guys. We're very thankful for their service that they've given, but they're also committed, and they make themselves flexible, not going on their vacations, not just spending time sitting at the house or doing whatever they want to do. They are flexible enough to go into the schools, to mentor young people, and do other projects that we have. So that's another characteristic of being a part of a team, is being flexible. Anybody else got any others that can think of offhand that you want to share?
No, I would say a team is, think of a team as a group of people. Think of teamwork as those individuals. Everybody has a role to play. So if you play your role on that team, that's teamwork. So everybody has a position. Like, we'll take football, for instance. You got a quarterback, you got one quarterback, you one receiver, one defensive tackle. You have those specific roles. And everybody on that team must come together at the same time to execute their roles for that team. Basically, that's teamwork. And you can look at an orchestra, symphony. Somebody plays piano, somebody plays the violin, somebody plays the drums, the cymbals, things like that. So everybody has to play their role in order for beautiful music to happen. So just think about team as people, and teamwork as them coming together, playing their roles for the success of that group.
So Mr. Troy, when you talk about beautiful music, that kind of struck a chord with me, because it's something we all learned in school when we talk about groups and teamwork, and we talk forming, storming, norming, conforming, and that's what the kids should understand. That we talked a little bit about, you don't always have to agree. So when you form a team, everybody's going to have their ideas, and everybody wants to have their inputs, but everything can't be put into the process. And so then you get people that start to, I don't like you, or I disagree with you, which is not good for a team, for the team. So that part of the team is where you get to know somebody. Like the first week of school, first couple of weeks of school, when you go in, you're starting to learn the new people in the school or the new people in your homeroom, and you're trying to figure out, how you fit in. Then the personalities clash in for the second aspect of the teamwork, team building, where personalities, where I don't like you, and I will tell you now, little pockets of cliques are bad for a team. In order for a team to work, you have to be, like we talked about, diverse. So then you get people arguing back and forth, but then everybody comes to that common respect for each other, and then they start to kind of work out the differences. Okay, I understand Mr. Alvin is mean to the kids, and I understand Mr. Troy is the Mr. Alvin breaks the glass, and Mr. Troy sweeps up the glass. And then so you start to figure out everybody's role, like we do before we go into a school, and then we create a new norm. Then we say, okay, even though we have these personalities, even though we see things different, the goal is that we still need to make this happen. We still need to build this bridge. And so then we start executing, we move forward. So that's what we tell the kids. Basically, when you get together, that doesn't mean everybody's personalities are going to gel. Not everybody's going to like each other, but you have to have an individual commitment to say, it's bigger than me. It's not about my personality. And once you do that, then the team dynamics start to flow.
Exactly. Very good. So you mentioned the common goal. So every team has to have a common goal. We as Fortitude leadership, our common goal is to make sure that we reach every child possible within the school system and the surrounding area. Now, because we have, our vision is to extend our arms, we actually have a whole lot of other people that join us. When we go into the school system, we create a relationship with our counselors, with the administrators, and there's several people actually out on, I see on Facebook Live now, they're chiming in. There's somebody extending arms. We have the counselor is very good at assisting us to create a team, and it all because we communicate. Now, even with what's going on now with COVID-19 and our new experience that we will have for the upcoming school year, um, we can all put forth an effort to become a great team as the administrators, teachers, and the parents on the parent side, because this is something new to us also. Some of the things we're talking about now are going to be very important as we embark upon this new adventure. One of the main things is communication. That's something that we not only the young people can take as far as we're speaking right now, but also the adults, the teachers, the parents, moms and dads. Think about teamwork as we approach our new school year. We've got to communicate with each other. We've got to be flexible, and we've also got to be committed to make sure that the best interest is the children. And it may be something uncomfortable. We've had, even as a team with us, we've had some uncomfortable situations. We had to make some decisions that it could be the four of us, and maybe two of us agree and two of us don't. But at the end of the day, what's more important, there cannot be I cannot say because I'm the founder that this is what I want to do. No, it's much bigger than me. It's a team effort, and if I expect a team to assist, then I definitely have to allow their points of view to count, to really matter. And I'm hoping that these guys know that I don't make decisions just it's never it's what can we do? What can we do? Because 9 times out of 10, it's definitely going to be we, and a lot of times, what are y'all going to do? Because if y'all can't do it, I can't do it. I definitely can't do it. So think about this, parents, as we go into our new school year. Teamwork is a group effort. It's something that we've all got to do to make this thing successful. And at the end of the day, regardless of their frustrations, I know a lot of parents may not be able to this computer, this technology and all that, but at the end of the day, we want to make sure that the children are successful. So those are some positive aspects of being a team leader. And you just turn all that around as far as the negatives are concerned, just not respecting people, not being committed, not getting involved. All those things are some negative things. But I kind of want to, we, as far as teamwork is concerned, when we go into the schools, we make sure these young men understand that we act as a team. Yes, we're here to pour some things into you, but we also receive from you guys. We a lot of the terminology, the little, some of the things these kids say, we have no idea unless they share with us. So a lot of times, hey, I want to know what are the latest saying? What are you guys talking about? Lit and all that. I don't know anything about that until they tell me. But they do. Hey, I can talk like I know, so it's a team effort. They help us to help them. So we'll be able to help the next school we go to. Hey, we already hip to everything y'all say, so we can go in with our confidence because the first school taught us everything. So it's a team effort. So, don't ever think that you can't learn from young people and learn from each other. But what I want to do, because it was very strange how I met these guys. Now we are very close, and now the team is much bigger than the guys you see here. I want people to understand that, and everybody's very much so appreciated. But these guys, they go into the school, and we spend a lot of time together. Of course, we can't now, but we've grown together. But the way we met was a little bit strange, and I just want to ask them a few questions. I may put them. They say I put them on the spot. I don't know if I will, but I may. But I think they'll be
on the bus.
But they say I throw them on the bus. But I just wanted to, and each one of them. So I'll do it like this. So you start however you please. So I just want each one of you guys to just a briefing on how we came to meet and what made you decide to join Team Fortitude. And I'm gonna start with Hutch because I met Hutch first. So Hutch, are you under the bus, and then I'll back over on who did I meet next? Either one of those two, I'll back over both of them after you. So Hutch, you get it started. So let me know what made you join this team and why you remain a part of this team.
So individual commitment, the word we talked about earlier. So as you alluded to earlier, long story short, I'm a retired military person. And so when I moved from Biloxi, Mississippi, back to Montgomery, Alabama, a part of me, something that my mom instilled in me throughout my life and my family was giving of yourself more than you expect in return. So my commitment is to a community, to helping everybody around me become better. And so no matter what little I do have, I knew that I wanted to give back. I wanted to give to kids, should I say, impart what little wisdom I had to the kids in the community, to help them get beyond where we are in life. And the way I can do that is to go into the schools and try not to replace the parents, but fill the gap. So what I was doing was I was looking for an organization that I could be a part of that was just trying to impart wisdom, opportunity, hope, and instill value in kids. And I ran into you, Mr. Tucker. Now, I'm not saying that that you were the end all be all, but I ran into you and we had some common goals. We had a common vision and a commitment to the community. And at first, I tell people the truth. I always said I didn't take you serious at first. It took about 4 contacts before I realized, okay, well, maybe he's on the up and up. And from there, we just grew.
All right. Okay. So I met Mr. Hutch first, and then so I'm gonna kind of get these other guys started. So, you know, I met several people like Mr. Hutch. So he did mention it took about 4 times because I've had this I've had this wall around or my guard up because I ran into people that have not had the common goal and maybe have something on mine. But anyway, so I wasn't trusting Mr. Hutch for about 4 times. And after the 4th time, so we actually invited me out to lunch. And I think I ran into Mr. Carlos at that particular time. And so very briefly met Mr. Carlos. Carlos, what was your first thought? No, I'll do it like this. So I met Mr. Carlos, and then later on, Mr. Hutch invited me over. He's a chef now, y'all. Mr. Hutch can cook. So Mr. Hutch invited me over to a barbecue, and we sat. And then Mr. Troy showed up. Mr. Troy and along with some other guy. And so, you know, we was just talking, and he began to sell Fortitude. So I'm just meeting this guy, but he heard everything I said. So he did that, and so from there, Mr. Carlos, what was your first thought, and then you, Mr. Troy?
Well, I like the fact that we started by saying that we throw each other up under the bus, and I think that particular day we all got thrown up on a bus, and the tires rolled over us a couple of times. But when I first decided to join Fortitude, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Is Montgomery is not my particular home. I grew up. My young years, I grew up south of Montgomery, about 50 miles, in a little small town or so. But the area that I live in now is Montgomery. And you always hear these Monday morning quarterbacks talk about how bad kids are and how, you know, the communities are going down. And I normally don't join any teams, any groups or organizations, because I just seen so much disarray where people didn't work together and stuff like that, and it normally end up being a conflict. But when we all talked, we talked about a shared vision, and it was something I wanted to be a part of. And since I live in Montgomery now, I wanted to actually be a part of the solutions in Montgomery. So I could be a part of the solutions in Georgia. I could be a part of the solutions maybe in California. But the area in which you live in is no more important than to be part of the solution. And I saw you guys' vision as being the same as something that I wanted to be a part of. And that was like getting into schools and mentoring kids. Not just mentoring them, but when we talk about, I think I mentioned this last week, that I have family members as teachers all over the place. And there's not a lot of men roles in schools. And we started talking about having a men's group to talk to young boys. And because we see that as being a bigger problem than maybe the females. And I thought that was really particular. and that was the goal. And then when we talked about it, I don't consider myself as a role model, but you have to accept the fact that maybe you can be a role model. You know, I don't get in trouble. Some kids look up to me. You know, I have some good things to share with them, so I accept the fact that I am a role model. And it's no better opportunity to do that than what we do, and that's why I got involved with Fortitude Leadership Academy, and to this date, I'm glad I did.
Very good. Okay, Mr. Troy.
And going along with that, I am definitely not from Montgomery, Alabama. I was born and raised up north, as they say, from Philadelphia. And I'm retired Air Force also. But every base that I was at, I always try to find that Boys and Girls Organization, or that organization that gave back to their community, because that's what I was shown from my dad. My dad was like the neighborhood dad. There were a lot of kids that didn't have fathers, so my dad took not only his kids. I have 4 brothers, but he also included the neighborhood kids in the things that he would teach us, he would do with us and stuff. So my main focus at the beginning was sports related. I played football, basketball, baseball, and part of my giving back was coaching. So when I started when I had my 2 boys, I really got into coaching. But when I got here, I had known Mr. Hutch since '97. We had met at another base, and in talking to Tucker, Hutch, and Carlos, when we were having that little get together and stuff, there were kids that I felt like I was missing, because my focus was just on the athletes or the athletic kids and stuff like that. And I know there are kids out there that are not athletic, but they also need role models. They need mentors. They need guidance and things like that. And so when Hutch gave Mr. Tucker's presentation, I was sold, because that's something that I wanted to be. And like Mr. Carlos said, I live in this community, so why not try to make it better? Why not try to be that force to do good and to show these kids that, you know what, it's not all negative out there. It's not all bad. You don't have to be the negative environment that you see all the time. You can be that positive environment and maybe make a change. So that first meeting that we had, I was sold. And I told y'all that I'm in. Whatever it is, I'm in.
So
Simply put, we care.
We care.
we care. We care. So that's been Troy's slogan. We care. So I like how Troy mentioned that Hutch did Mr. Tucker's presentation. So man, so remind you guys that I haven't known Mr. Hutch that long at this point. So Mr. Hudson, he sold the presentation to these guys. So you know, we all sitting around talking. So I wanted to share with those guys what I shared with Hutch. So I invited everybody to come by our Fortitude location that Monday. So everybody agreed around the round table. They agreed they're coming. So over the weekend, you know, I'm like, oh, these some good guys. But, you know, I didn't expect them. We said we're going to meet at 12 o'clock on Monday. So I've heard, like I said, I've heard this by some of my close friends, that we're going to do this, we're going to help, we're going to volunteer. So it was kind of like, okay, these some good guys, but you know, it's just like anybody else, they're not going to show up Monday. So I have cameras around the building, and I frequently watch my camera. So I was sitting at my desk that Monday morning, well, about right at noon. So they said they'll be here at 12 o'clock. So about 5 minutes to 12, about 4 or 5 cars pulled up right behind each other, like in the parking lot. I'm like, who are these people? You know, everybody's pulling up all at one time. So they get out and they come in, and like, I was like overwhelmed, because first of all, I was like, man, they showed up. And plus, they got here before 12 o'clock, so they on time. Like, this is on the money here, because I'm all about being on time. So they got there, but not only, they came before 12 o'clock. And, you know, I'm about the time. So they come in and we talk, and you know, every last one was like, where do I think I had my Fortitude t-shirt on. And it's like, well, when do we start? I said, I have a t-shirt in the back. I went and got t-shirts for these guys. I gave Carlos one. Carlos only had one, the other guys got 2. But they have been strong ever since. So they've been great team members. They've joined. Everybody else on the team liked them. And so we go into the schools, and because of these guys, we extend our arms. So the Fortitude team, I see Miss Wilson's on here. I got Miss Pamela Martin. She's on our team. I've seen Miss Wilson from over at Danley. Then we have Miss Wilson from Fitzpatrick, which is a counselor. Then we have Miss Whetstone, the counselor, Miss Markham, the principals. We have Chisholm. And if I may not call some of the schools, so if you're on here and I didn't, I apologize. But we have so many people that have joined our team to extend our arms, and it's all because of we respect each other, we communicate very well, and I think one of a great advantage is we disagree, because disagreement is not a bad thing. Disagreement it forces everybody to come together to make a commitment, to come together and make a good decision. So these guys, and they'll tell you, we have some disagreement. We have some big time disagreement, but before we get off that bus, so I'm the bus driver, but on our way to a location, we may have a disagreement, but when we step out that bus, we step out as a team. When we go where we're going, we have one common goal, is to make sure that we reach a youth that particular day, and we have enough of us so we present, but we also have enough on the team that our eyes are wandering. We're looking at these young people to see who needs that special attention. So it may be Mr. Carlos, he may be up speaking to the young people about teamwork, respect, or whatever it is, but one of the other team members gonna go pull someone to the side and say, hey, listen, young man, what's going on? Or our other team members at the schools, the counselors, the administrators, some of the other teachers, their primary teachers, they're on our team. They give us a list of some things that the young people need to work on. So that part of the team, we need that. When they give us that information, then one of the three of us or the four of us will grab that young man and say, hey, listen, what happened here? What do we need to do to fix this? So everything we do requires us to work as a team. And I'm very appreciative of these team members. And so I see a few other people on here. I see Miss Pam. Miss Pam is part of our team. Of course, my wife, Tamika. We have Derek. Y'all, if I miss some names, y'all let me know. We got Mr. Derek. He's in the school system. Mr. Larry's in the school system. Mr. TJ in the school system. Miss Sonia McCall. She also volunteers in the school system. She's on our team. Denise, Miss Robinson. Who am I missing? Miss Pam, Mr. Andre.
Tiffany.
It's Tiffany. So we have several people that are part of our team there in the school system. And before I forget that, next week, we're going to have some of those guys on here that are in the school system. We're going to talk about how you can prepare for our virtual school. We'll talk about from a teacher's perspective as well as from a parent, because these guys are parents as well.
Hey,
yes, sir.
Mr. Tucker.
Yes.
We'd be remiss if we didn't mention Shannon Gallion and Nate Boykins. Nate Boykins.
Yes,
Andre.
Nate and Shannon. And Brother Andre, yes. So our team, we have a very large team. Now, forgive me for that. I forgot about those guys, but those guys are very important to the team as well. So we have a large team, and we continue to grow. So we're very appreciative. So one thing I want to say to everyone out there, make sure that you guys understand that as we move forward into this new adventure with this virtual process with school, realize that it's a team effort. And the biggest thing that you can do as a team member is listen, communicate, be responsible, be flexible, and make sure that you just have the common goal, which is are the children in mind. You guys have anything you want to share before
the common goal is children in one team, one fight. So
one team, one fight.
That's an old slogan that we used to use in the military. It don't mean to get out and fist fight. It means that if you got to get in the trenches and teach the kids or whatever, that goal should be to get to that end result. And that end result for us is talking and mentoring kids. So whatever we have to do, if it take a little fight, then we get in there and we do that. So one team, our team, and one fight. So.
Good stuff.
Yep. And so completely understanding that we can't save the world, but you know, every day when you turn on the news and you look and you see a 17-year-old or a 20-year-old, 18-year-old, you know, just committed an egregious crime or about to go to jail, and you go, wow, how did they get there? It may be too late for some, but when you catch them at the age that we do in the smaller groups, I mean, we can make a greater impact. So that's why when you look at the news and see the atrocities, that's what motivates me to continue to give myself to the project and to our goal, because it's got to get better. And in order for it to get better, we have to prepare the kids because they're the future.
Mr. Troy.
And to close it out, we care.
Hey,
well
hey,
done.
Troy,
Well
you
done.
stole those words. Hey, listen, I was hoping you didn't say that.
Well
Those are gonna be
done.
my end of words, man. Hey, I knew you was gonna say it, but I said maybe he won't say it. Those are gonna be my last words. So hey, guys, y'all please tune in next week, and we thank you guys for joining today. Hey, y'all have a great rest of the week, and remember, we care. Y'all have a great week.